What's up, everybody? It's me, General Van, and Well, you don't need to introduce yourself. You've already been on this channel already. So just tell everybody, remind the people who you are, why you're here.
Okay, so my name is Ion. I've been previously talking about Fire Emblem and particularly Three Houses on the channel previously. And today we are going to talk about a very special date that is coming very soon.
It's going to be the first year anniversary of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Isn't it crazy how time goes by? It felt like we were waiting for the game so long, and now it's like, well, by the day that this goes up will be the first year, but it's gonna be a year since it came out. That's insane. We're all gonna die soon. We're all getting old.
Yeah, it's been a while now, and it's interesting to look back at the game and what we were expecting and what we got and what it has become.
Yeah, so what do you think? I'm just gonna ask a question right off of that. Did you think that the game met your expectations? What did you think going into this game, and did the game live up to what you thought it was gonna be?
Well, I was quite expecting something pretty darn epic. I was expecting something on the scale of the Telius game, since that was the last time we had a proper game on a console.
Right. Besides Warriors, but it's a Muso game.
Yeah.
Who the fuck plays that in 2020 anyway?
Yeah, no, especially since that game is a major disappointment in comparison to other franchise Muso games, sorry.
Yeah.
Like Hyrule Warriors or some others. But yeah, I was expecting that, and I will say that it mostly was able to accomplish it. Like I will say now, seeing it in perspective, I think the game is a little bit overrated, but not by much. But it was a good return to the games from console. I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Yeah, you mentioned that the game is overrated. You know, it's funny. I do share that sentiment, kinda, but not as much as other games that recently came out. Because Three Houses, it's an incredible game. It definitely lived up to my expectations for the most part. Like I'd say 95% it lived up to it, so very good game. But I don't know, for me, I don't see people holding it. It is held in high regard, but not so much like, oh, it's the greatest game in the entire universe. So I'm kind of glad that it is highly regarded, but not like a crazy amount. So is it a little overrated? Maybe slightly, in my opinion. I think it deserves most of the praise it gets.
Yeah, I pretty much stand in that. I just wouldn't say it's the best one in the series.
That's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. For anyone wondering what the best game in the series is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. The difference between Tokyo Mirage Sessions and other Fire Emblem games is that Tokyo Mirage Sessions is actually fun to play. But I could go on all day about Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but it's about Three Houses, and yeah, like you said, it's a fun game. It's not perfect, it's not the best. In my opinion, in all seriousness, it is the second best. I did my video rating all the Fire Emblem games. I put this game just under Telius, just under Path of Radiance. Like I said, I should have put Tokyo Mirage Sessions at number 1, but I was too scared.
That's a fair assessment.
And overall, there's not a lot to criticize about the game. I say one criticism that I have personally, probably the biggest one, the maps. I cannot remember single, besides that one like an EDM map, because I only did the Golden Deer route so far because I'm a lazy fuck, and I only did Golden Deer, so I'm only judging it based on the Golden Deer route. But the only map that was memorable was like that EDM map, like that electro disco techno shit, like that acid trip map.
Yeah, the Shambhala map.
Yeah, that map was actually cool. But other than that, the other maps, I don't fucking remember them. I straight up don't. I think they were just
Yeah, that continues to be my biggest gripe about the game to this day. That the map design is honestly quite generic and not very good, and
Yeah.
it can also be inconsistent at time.
Right.
But
And repetitive.
but yeah, I'm not really sure why they went with such generic map designs at times. Like, if you go back to the Telius games, every map was quite unique, and some of them had some gimmicks, some better than others, but at least
Fucking
every single map
those
give you like a new thing to do, a new perspective in this world.
those fucking boulders in what is it, chapter 25 in Path to Radiant? I hate that map. You don't
Oh, yeah.
understand how much I hate that map. It's not the worst map. I still think that title goes to Arcadia, but that map is my least favorite because that was the only time in Path of Radiance where I wasn't having fun. That map was just an absolute shit show. But I get what you mean. Yeah, every map for the most part in the previous games, they had some sort of uniqueness, whether it was a gimmick. I mean, except for Revelations, I hate Revelations.
In Radiant Dawn, when you are doing the inverse, now you are throwing the rocks. Now it's kind of useless.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it goes full circle.
Yeah, and in this game, like I said, besides that one map, I don't know, the maps kind of just fell through. I think that's like the biggest criticism I have of the game. Everything else I thought was fine. I thought the story was really good. It was a huge step up from Fates and Awakening, especially Fates. Especially Fates. Oh man, whoever wrote Fates. I mean, I don't like insulting people that make their work, that put their heart and soul into this, but the writing of Fates did not feel like they put their heart and soul into it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it was a manga artist, but I really don't remember his name or what he worked in. But yeah, I will say that it wasn't his finest hour.
Yeah. I mean, the gameplay is fantastic. In Conquest, the gameplay is... I still stand by my statement as the gameplay, besides Tokyo Mirage Sessions, is the best in the series in Conquest, by far. But writing, yeah. And yeah, the story, Three Houses' story, it lived up to expectations for me. Actually went further than that, because I thought we were just going to get like a slightly upgraded Fate story, but no, the story in Three Houses went far beyond that. It was easy to understand, but it was very complex and in-depth, so I gotta give him credit.
Yeah, I really like the fact that the game tries really hard to not paint everybody as well, all everybody. I mean, most of the antagonists as only bad guys that are unredeemable, aside from I hate saying their name because they have such a long and stupid name.
Those who slither in the
dam. Yeah. We're going to call them the Dark Ones just for the sake of simplicity.
The Dark Ones?
Or I don't know what. But yeah, with the exception of those guys, I would say the game does a really good job to try not to portray everybody as the evil bad guy to defeat.
Yeah, like
I think that was really good.
Like, I'm evil because I'm evil, and yeah, I want to do bad things.
Yeah. In fact, I will say that the Dark Ones are also another low point of the game, because first of all, depending on the route you take, they are either very important to the story or you don't ever hear of them again.
Like in Golden Deer, I would say they were pretty important to the story, especially what of Monica's actions. I forget. Oh, Kronia. Yeah. My bad, Kronia. By the way, I forgot to mention there will be spoilers, but I mean the game's a year old, and if you're watching this, you should expect spoilers. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the video in the beginning. But yeah,
and on the other hand, if you play as Blue Lions, they are pretty much secondary antagonists, and they are barely mentioned, if at all.
Really?
And I don't know, I feel that overall their inclusion was maybe an afterthought, or like they never considered giving them an even more important role, or like I don't know, like I feel that in the end they aren't as interesting as all the characters and the rest of the world that you live and explore in Three Houses.
Yeah, I agree. I do like their concept at first, because we don't know who's in the group, because they infiltrated the school, and I really, like, to be honest, like, I actually didn't know who it could have been. I had suspicions it was Monica, kinda, but I don't know. They did trip me up. Either that or I'm a fucking idiot. But most likely not because I'm an idiot, because I'm the greatest gamer of all time, the best Fire Emblem player of all time, no question. General Van, I am in the top 1% of all Fire Emblem players in terms of skill. But those that Slytherin in the Dark and Monica did kind of trip me up. Say, oh shit, that was her, and yeah, they were kind of unmemorable. Not my favorite group. They're not the Burn Alliance. They're definitely not the Burn Alliance, but they're still not like terrible. They're not a Nakos, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better. I mean, at least, how to put this? Like, when comparing for these dark ones with, what's the name of the dragon bad guy from Fates? Athrokos?
Anakos.
Yeah, that guy. Like, comparing him to him, like, it's not it's better, but at least it's not as dumb.
It's not the sole it's like everything that happens in Three Houses. Those at Slytherin Dark, everything that happens, that they're not the sole reason for it. Revelations basically said, yeah, everything you did up to that point, it was me, buddy. Me and Narcos. I did everything. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, like sometimes, like most of the time, I prefer something that is forgettable, that's something that is bad. But in the case of Anakos or whatever his name was, and those who slither in the dark, I think I prefer the forgettable those who slither in the dark over the evil that is this evil primeval dragon, because he was just he just pretty much appears out of nowhere, and just feels like a lame excuse to we need to blame somebody for everything. Sorry.
Yeah.
And at least those who slither in the dark are at least prevalent at the first part of the story. So yeah, in the end, as much as we criticize them, they aren't the worst villains in a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah. I'll give you 1 second. Hi, Dad. I'm playing games online. My bad about that. I'll edit that out. But yeah, it did. Anarchos did kind of feel like the maybe not as bad as, I don't know if you played Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, I do.
You played Final Fantasy. Remember Necron, the final boss?
Yeah.
He was kind of like Necron, but with like a little more story significance, I guess. Because at the very least, Anarchos has like actual dialogue and not just random Star Wars quotes, and actually does kind of serve somewhat of a purpose. But yeah, that's Necron's not a very high bar to begin with anyway. But yeah,
Necros is like one of the villains of the first Final Fantasy. Yeah, like one of the original villains of Final Fantasy. At least.
Yeah, it's yeah, at least Anarchos had somewhat of purpose. Still, he sucked. He was so bad. His boss fight was cool. His boss fight was actually fun. It reminded me of Polaris from Devil Survivor 2, but yeah, other than that, he sucked. And those that slithered in the dark, they were better, but not like crazy. Not like that much better, but still a decent step up.
Yeah. Also, something that what's the other thing that I will say wasn't that good? Probably the DLC, the Ashen Wolves.
I've yet to buy it, and I'm probably never gonna buy it.
Yeah, I mean it's not really that important in the end. You can play Three Houses without ever playing Ashen Wolves.
Oh, it doesn't have that much story significance?
Yeah. To be honest, it just doesn't bring something extremely important to the story. First of all, the consequences of the things you do during the Ashen Wolves campaign the things you do there don't really affect any of the paths you took. Like it just adds some new situations but that's all. It really isn't like, oh, if you play Ashen Wolves, then suddenly Crimson Flower becomes like this really, really important route because of what happened. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't have anything like that. It's
Right.
in the end, Ashen Wolves just serves to add more lore to the game,
Just to
and
make more
in
money.
some things,
Be
yeah,
honest.
to make more money.
Just to make more money. Be honest. Just to make more money.
Yeah, I mean some of the things you learn in Ashen Wolves is interesting if you care about the story of the world, but at the end of the day, it's really not that. It's not a must-have.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's kind of like you can buy it if you really like the game, but if you're not interested in it, you're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the guys from Dashing Wolves are really cool guys. I will say that they are absolute chats. Well, at least most of them. But
I like Happy's design.
They are not.
I like Happy's
Yeah,
design. She doesn't look so happy though, but I do like her design.
Yeah, I mean they are cool. They have some of them have interesting stories, especially Constance and Yuri. But overall, yeah, you are not really missing something. I honestly was expecting something more interesting.
Right.
But at least it wasn't Revelations.
Yeah.
Because that was my biggest fear when they announced DLC that it will turn out to be that this DLC will be like the real path, the real decision,
the true,
the canonical route. But at least thankfully it isn't. But it was also not that interesting as I wish it could have been.
Yeah, Revelations, when you tack on something like a true ending, especially to a DLC, it's kind of like a slap in the face because you already spent, what, almost $100 on Conquest and Birthright, and now those endings, those games weren't even the true ending, but now you gotta buy Revelations, and we're gonna have gimmicks every single map. We're gonna blame everything on one villain.
Yeah,
at least it's not full price. At least it's not. Well, I mean, it was still like $18, like $20 or something. At least it wasn't a full price game. So that's the only thing I could say good.
Right.
Yeah. At least it wasn't.
The same I can say about Ashen Wolves. It's not full price, but and you get some cool units and some cool story. But at the end of the day, it's not a life or death decision.
Yeah,
that is also one of the disappointing sides of Three Houses in a way. Although that has more to do with my expectations than anything else. Although I would presume that most people have similar opinions of Ashen Wolves, even if the characters are cool.
I see their mixed reactions. Some people say, yeah, it's decent. Other people are like, if you don't want to buy it, don't even bother. It's a little expensive for DLC, like 20. You do the math. It's it's about the price of one route, I would say, assuming like you paid $70 for 3 houses, so it means you paid around 23 and some change for a route. So, and Ashen Wolves is about the same price, so it does cost as much as a route. It's still DLC though. You shouldn't price it that high.
Yeah, especially for what we got. Yeah, you could say it's overpriced. However, if you ever happen to be curious, I will give it a try, maybe. But yeah, in the end, it's not. Yeah, it's not that big of a highlight.
It's ironic that I say. Sorry to cut you off, but it's ironic that I say I won't spend that much money on DLC. B-Ball, like the moment Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix came out, I bought all the DLC without even giving it a second thought.
Yeah, especially considering how you haven't decided to buy Persona 5 Royal, but that's story.
Yeah, that's a different story. I don't hate Royal. Yeah. I just like I like poking fun of it. I don't hate Royal. I think it's most likely it's just a better Persona 5, but still.
It's really.
Ever since anyway. Ultra Sun gave me like, just I don't want to buy remakes after like 3 years. Turn me off from that, and I don't want to do that anymore. Pokemon Ultra Sun.
I understand, but still, I would recommend. Yeah, I will still recommend it that you eventually give it a chance to Persona 5 Royal. It's fine if you don't play Ashen Wolves, to be honest.
Yeah. And Yeah,
But
so
enough talking about the bad stuff
yeah, I was
of
about
Three
to say,
Houses.
like,
What?
we're making it look like we hate this game. Like, we hate this 20 minutes in, and we just did nothing but roast fucking everything except talk good things about it. But, I think other than that, I think we covered all the bad shit about the game. Like, everything else
Yeah,
is perfect.
like
Everything else is fine. Like
yeah,
we
leaving
said,
aside that, I really like it.
the supports were a
Like
huge improvement. I would say one big
yeah,
improvement were the supports.
mhm. Oh yeah, the supports were really good this time around. I was genuinely surprised by some of them. Yeah, it's also speaking quickly of Fashion Wolves. They also have really good supports overall.
I heard that was a high point
So
of
at
it.
least we can say that it has that.
25 DLs, $25 just for good supports.
Yeah, but why would you do it if the main game also has good supports?
And we spent over $100 on Fates in total, and it barely got that.
Yeah. Yeah, something that was really good about Three Houses. Well, yeah, also the world. The world was really well developed.
The world building was phenomenal. The world building was absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I would say almost on par with Telius, if not at the same level. I would say.
I'd put
But
it on that part because if the monastery
yeah, why not?
the monastery really made you feel immersed in it. It really made you feel like you bonded with the characters because that's your role. The game is about you're a student. You're a teacher. You have a bunch of students, and you want to connect with them. And the monastery was the perfect way to do that. So, like I said, I felt immersed. There wasn't a second where I didn't feel connected to somebody or bored of the world. I always felt like, oh, I'm learning something new and connecting with somebody.
Yeah, the world building honestly is quite good. Yeah, I will put it in the same place as the Telius games, even if I prefer a slightly bit the Telius games because it has a little more of
Well,
inner workings of the world. But
and Tellius also has Mia, so and Tanith.
yeah, it also has me. It also has Nefini, my waifu, and Jill. But yeah, that was also really good about Three Houses. It did feel like a very interesting world. As much as I like Echoes, the world isn't that developed. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just not that developed in depth.
What, Echoes?
Same with Awakening. I mean, Fates kind of when they did
Fates didn't develop shit. Fates didn't develop
but yeah,
shit.
in the end, it's not as interesting as it wish it could be.
No. Yeah, Fates didn't develop shit.
Yeah.
It just cared about
especially after they pulled that out of the actual bad guy and that he has been rewriting history.
It only has fan service and Conquest has phenomenal gameplay. I still like Fates overall, but yeah, no, the world building was fantastic in Three Houses overall. Like I said, the monastery was a huge. A lot of detractors, I would say, compare the monastery to like Persona's own social link system. There is some similarities, but I'd say it still stands on its own 2 feet as its own thing.
Yeah, I even would say it's very different to how Persona works.
Yeah,
so I even consider some of those comparisons unfair because it really doesn't work like in Persona. I mean, yeah, you have this social life, but the things you do in the monastery and the way you interact with all the students and the teachers is very different.
Yeah, the way you go about everything, yeah, it's completely different. It's not even close. I mean, yeah, obviously you can go on, I guess, dates with them and do tea time and whatnot, but other than that, it's inspired by Persona, I would say, maybe, but they're their own systems.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just inspirable. That's it. What else? Something I really like about this game that is not in any other Fire Emblem game is that, unlike other games, you don't have this feeling that every character is settled on a specific class.
Right. You can do what you want.
You can really do what you want, unlike in other games where if you try to build like the healer as a dark mage, then you will be wasting your time because it will never grow as you would like. and in some cases in some cases it will be you aren't even allowed to change the classes of your units, but in this case you can build your party whatever you want, and I really like that. It gives something the whole series really hasn't had, that is flexibility.
Just don't change Lysithea from mage. You are making a terrible mistake, my friend.
Yeah, like you will be making a great mistake, but the fact that you can do it is something I really appreciate, because in other games, if you dare to change your unit, the units you have, to something else because you didn't have, yeah, like let's say you had a bandit and you needed a swordsman because you lost your swordsman in a previous game and you don't want to save scum.
Yeah.
And you did that, but then suddenly you'll have a second-rate swordsman, or a really bad one. And while I can get that it won't be as good as an OG swordsman, the fact that in 3 houses you can train somebody to be a decent or a good swordsmaster is something I really like, and something that, quite honestly, I feel has been missing from the series.
It's that customization. You really feel like you can customize it to whatever you want. Like you said, the other games you can change your class, but
or if you did, it just wasn't worth it at all.
Yeah, I've almost
but in this case, you really can.
I almost never changed classes. Like, besides classing up, I never changed classes in Fates or Awakening. I always just use their classes. Classes they come with, I'm like, okay, that's what they're meant to be. That's what it is. But 3 houses, it's like, yeah, but no, you can change what you want. And speaking of characters, every character just feels unique. They aren't like copy pasted. They aren't like
they aren't bound to their identity as a unit, like in some other games.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Navarre archetype, for example, isn't just, I don't know who the Navarre of this game would be, but like they aren't like a typical, I guess Felix, sort of.
Yeah, but I mean, you can build. It's not like you can't build Felix in any way, unlike Navarre, in which if you are not building him as a swordsman, you are just wasting your time because he won't grow as well in other things, in like say a bandit class.
Yeah, like if you want to make Felix like a fucking cleric, you can do that. I never did it. It's funny as fuck though. If I did, it would be funny as fuck.
Yeah, so that's also something I really like about the game. And something that, however, I have like mixed feelings about the game, and it might be controversial. It's the graphics.
You know, I never really put that much thought into it. I actually never really thought about the graphics so much. I thought they were fine. They're better than like Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the Switch's graphics, but I mean TMS was a Wii U game, so that's not really fair to say. But I
mean, it's like in a weird spot. Just let me say something very quick, because like unlike other games in this series, this one was co-developed by Koei Tecmo.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have no hard evidence, but if someone were to find it out, I will be grateful. I'm pretty sure that the game engine of Three Houses is the same engine they use for Fire Emblem Warriors. Like,
are you serious?
I will even say some of the assets are similar, especially the background assets of the maps and stuff. The biggest giveaway I will say is when you see you know that you can zoom in this map all the way to the ground level and see all the units and your battalions and stuff, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you enter into that perspective, the game really does look like one of the levels of Warriors. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it uses the game engine, that same game engine.
Probably because they figured, all right, we have a game on the Switch already. No need to reinvent the wheel, so might as well just use this.
Yeah, especially since I remember reading somewhere else that something that they were quite particular to take care of, and one of the reasons they co-developed this with Koei Tecmo is that they wanted to have these large-scale battles with the battalion system.
Yeah.
And considering that that Warriors already has that because it's a Muso game, then they probably just decided from the get-go, okay, let's use whatever tools you use to make Warriors, and let's just modify it a little bit to make it work for an actual Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
However, I will say that the result is sort of a mixed bag because because for the sake of maintaining a consistent frame rate and all that stuff, the levels I will say at the end of the day aren't that detailed. The only really detailed place you ever explore is the monastery.
Yeah.
And for example, I will say that the biggest giveaway that there's something wrong with the graphics is every time you do one of the supports, when you look at the background, it's a very giveaway that you are in a pre-rendered room, because the game doesn't look anywhere like it looks in those scenarios, and it doesn't even happen in those actual places in the monasteries. It's like in a room, in a round room, a square room, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they just literally pasted like a pre-render of the place where you are, so it ends up looking pretty ugly, to be honest. I was actually pretty surprised when seeing this and disappointed because like I was expecting something better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think every game cuts corners in some way, shape, or form, and I think that was kind of their own way to cut corners. I mean, they probably didn't need to. I mean, Three Houses wasn't like being delayed like crazy, where it was to the point where like, okay, give us the fucking game already. So I think they could have probably spent a little more time on that. It doesn't take away from the experience, but it's just one of those little things.
Yeah, like I can understand it for the battles, but I can't understand the decision to do that in the supports.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, like I said, if they needed like I don't know how long it takes to make games, but if they needed like a few more months to make it, I would have just said, just take that time. We're no rush. Or maybe they were, I don't know if they were in a rush to do it, but to release the game, but I feel like they could have taken more time. But like I said, it doesn't take away from anything really. It's just like one of those things you see, it's like, oh, well that's not good, but yeah, it wasn't like terrible. The supports themselves at least were phenomenal. The supports themselves
were really good.
They weren't just like Fates where it was like ellipsis, 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 da 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 da. It was, they actually had conversation. They made sense, and you actually felt connected to them, and it wasn't just, yeah, they weren't Fates conversations. Fates conversations, like I said, they were shitty, but at least every support that I've been through, I looked forward to the next one. I can't say the same about a lot of the other games I played.
They are overall really well written, or at least they are interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were interesting. One of my favorites was Raphael's support with Ignatz, and because Ignatz is still so guilty about what happened to him, and Raph's like, look man, it happened, it wasn't your fault, just let's be friends. And I was like, you know what, that's a good dude.
Yeah, I take bad everything bad I said about Raphael. He's a good guy.
Good, you better, otherwise I'm kicking you off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick you off, I'm gonna ban you.
Nah, it's fine. Since I played Golden Deer, yeah, I got the full story, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Seriously, there aren't really any bad characters written.
No, they weren't. No, I can't remember. Yeah, no, I don't remember. Like I said, besides those that slid in the dark, they were kind of underwhelming. But yeah, I don't remember like a terrible, like, I hate this fucking character. Because like in every game I've played, every Fire Emblem game I played, there was always that one character that I was like, man, fucking motherfucker, why is he, fuck this person. Three Houses, I never got that. I never said, wow, this person's a piece of shit. I mean, maybe Gilbert, kinda, without context, seems like a shitty person. But yeah, other than that, I never really, I don't have any hatred toward any of the characters. I thought they were all either fantastic or, at the very least, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that we had for a time a lot of discussion about the characters and in particular the leaders of the houses, and that conversation lasted for quite some time. I would say it's a testament to how much interest and care there was in the story and to make these characters interesting.
Especially Edelgard. Especially she, like, there's still conversations going on about her and if she's morally gray and whatnot, and I have my own thoughts about that.
I also have my thoughts on the whole thing, but the fact that we are actually still having conversations about it, it's, like I say, it's really a testament of how well written this game is. You can't really say that from many other games.
Do you see any people having conversations about, like, I don't know, parry supports?
Yeah, nobody speaks out parry.
Or, I don't know, I don't want to roast her. I was like Cordelia supports, but I can't really roast Cordelia. She was my first Fire Emblem love, so I can't say anything about that.
Yeah, but I mean, you even still have some people that talk their praises about characters from Shadows of Valentia, for example, but nobody is talking about the ones from Fate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really something. And speaking of the house leaders, what have your thoughts changed on them over the course of this year?
I think Claude. I used to, you know what? Going into this game, I really thought I was gonna hate Claude's guts because I read his character. He was like a sneaky trickster. I was like, oh my gosh, don't tell me this guy's gonna be a little fucking pencil neck dweeb. But then no, he surprised me. He's actually a real legit leader. Like, I can't say anything bad about him. He's a legitimate, caring. He is sneaky, but it's for good purpose. And he's a legitimate leader. I can't say anything bad about the guy.
Yeah. In fact, I would say that all of the house leaders, except Yuri, because his house really isn't a typical house.
Oh, Yuri's the.
So he doesn't really count in saying like he's like the leader in a way. It's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, although he's a good character.
And then with Dimitri, I always made jokes when I saw his post-skip design. I was like, oh my gosh, Dimitri just became a Reddit, not a Reddit incel, but Dimitri just went all full incel mode and came all edgy and dark, and I was like, I made fun of him. I don't actually hate on those people, but I kind of made fun of him for that. And
yeah, but
no, he had reasons.
Leaders.
Yeah, then I saw why Dimitri became like that. I was like, oh yeah, he's fucked up. He kind of deserves to be like that. But yeah, no, I've not played Blind or Black Eagles yet, so I don't have that much of a connection towards Edelgard to me. Comment them on
DLC and not that important for it.
Yeah, so I can't really comment on them but they are solid. But Claude was just a fantastic leader, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had to work with 3 lords this time around, and I would say leaving aside by, but they really did a good job juggling this, because I mean there are so many ways they could have screwed this up.
Oh, there are so many. Yeah, like Micaiah, Radiant Dawn. Fuck Micaiah.
Yeah, as much as I will protect her, yeah, I wish she was more. She was more relevant, because she really isn't. She really is only relevant when at the very beginning, when you are stuck playing with the Dork Brigade again, and by the very end.
I'm not protecting Micaiah. I'm not.
Even though she's a good girl, I would say.
I'm not protecting her. Now with those stats, I'm not protecting her. And I know those stats
I was able to make her work in my case, but yeah, I can understand.
Remember one time she doubled something and I marked it on my calendar. I was like, wow, today's an event. Micaiah double something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last game that we had to work with 3 lords. I mean, does Fates count? Because you had Corin, and I mean, I wouldn't count Fates because they all. I don't know. Would I count Fates as 3 lords?
Mm, not really, because
Yeah.
their story really is all about Corin.
Yeah, it's mainly the Corin show and his circumstances. It's like a terrible sitcom that actually made it into a video game.
Yeah, it's not even about Ashura. I agree. When we first saw those trails, I actually thought she was going to be that important, but in the end, she wasn't.
Yeah, no,
So,
no, I was same way, and I was like, wow, so she's gonna be like the deuteragonist, I guess, and maybe she was on paper, but she did not feel like that. I stopped caring for Azura really quick. I have no feelings towards her. I don't hate her. I don't like her. I just don't. There's nothing to me.
yeah.
But the other lords in 3 Houses, the house leaders, like I said, I didn't do their roots, but I still at least have something. I feel something towards them. I like them both. Was Edelgard right? I mean, I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. That's already a huge discussion, but she's just well written. That's one thing you can't deny. She's very well written. Like you said, people are still discussing her today. The game came out a year ago, which is absolutely insane.
Whether you like her or not, she's definitely a very interesting character. Especially, I will say that it's because in some ways it feels very real, and in other ways because the story has her do the things that the character would do if this was a real story, you know?
Yeah.
So you can say at least it's consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there were no like plot holes or anything. There was no like real inconsistencies, especially at least major inconsistencies. Like, hold on, wasn't that? Hold up. Like, I never really felt like I had to say, hold up, what the fuck is this? This wasn't explained earlier. It was just a very straightforward, like, there's a lot of terms to remember, like all the lands and all the crests and stuff. But the actual story, its progression is very straight and narrow, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, it's easy to follow.
Yeah, very easy to follow, and I think that my favorite part of this game, the best part, in my opinion, but I think most people can agree on, is the gameplay itself. It's just straight up fun. It's just a straight up fun game to play.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I would say it's even a good entry point in the series.
I disagree. I think because it plays so different than the other games. I mean, this is truly a unique Fire Emblem game. There's no other Fire Emblem game like it, with the whole Monastery and system. I don't think this is a good entry point to start. Even like difficulty wise, it's, in my opinion, one of the easier games. There was never really a time, because I played on hard, and there was never really a time where I was like, man, this map is impossible. Some maps kicked my fucking ass, but, well, they would have if I wasn't as great of a player as I am. But I never felt like, oh man, this is impossible, or oh wow, I'm gonna die. It never felt like that. But I'd say 3 Houses.
I will say though that just very quick, I will say that the Asian Wolves maps can actually be quite hard.
They can.
So speaking about it, I will say that they amped up the difficulty in those maps.
Yeah, and apparently I think Golden Deer, like, I think the consensus, I don't know if it's the consensus or not, but I read somewhere, I asked a question on Reddit, I was like, what do you think is the hardest route? And they said probably Golden Deer. I think slight majority went to Golden Deer as the hardest route of the 3. Well, technically, well, 4 routes rather, because Black Eagles obviously splits, but yeah, and I still wouldn't say this is a good game to start, because like I said, it's so different from the other games. I would say it works best if you play like 5 games maybe. Like if you've played Awakening, Blazing Sword, Sacred Stones, Fates, and Path of Radiance, and maybe even FE4. Although FE4 is more, like I said, it's not as hard as people think it is. May assume it is, but still, I wouldn't say it's a good game to start. But like if you played like those 5 games, Awakening, Fates, well, Fates is more than one game obviously, but Awakening, Fates, Blazing Sword, Path of Radiance, and Awakening, Blazing Sword, Path of Radiance, Fates,
Binding Blade.
Binding Blade's difficult. Binding Blade's brutal if you don't know what you're doing. If you played those games, I would say then play Three Houses. Like that should be like your 5th game, no less than 3rd game, because it's just super different. Or if you're a hardcore Persona fan, because like I said, the Monastery is different, but it does share some similarities with Persona. If you really like Persona and you never play Fire Emblem, this is probably like a nice ease. The same way that Devil Survivor is like a entry point for Fire Emblem fans to get into Megami Tensei. So like this is like the, I guess, Fire Emblem's Devil Survivor, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but that's what I think. So either play it. So either.
What will you say? Continue.
So I was about to say, in conclusion with that is with the whole if this is good game to start, it's if you like if you're a hardcore Persona fan, start with it. If not, play some other games first. It's not hard, but you'll it's so different. You don't wanna. It's so different. You don't wanna get used to the system and then go back and then it's not, none of the bells and whistles are there. So play some other games first, unless you're a hardcore Persona fan. If you are, start with it. If not, Awakening, Blazing Sword, Fates, and Path of Radiance before this, and Sacred Stones. Actually, forgot to mention that. I was stuck.
Okay, that was the one. Also, what would you say was your favorite song from the game? Because I will say Three Houses had an excellent soundtrack overall.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I'd say it's weird. It's a weird choice, but the battle menu theme actually is probably my favorite. I don't know why. God Shattering Star is great. God Shattering Star is an absolute masterpiece. But when I listen to the battle menu theme, like when I was playing and before battle, I would like, do my inventory, all that stuff. Like I would just like vibe. After I was done, I would like take like a minute or two and just kind of vibe to the song. I was like,
it's a good song to.
What was your favorite song?
I will say that for me, I mean, God Shattering Star is really good. For me, it will be between that one and the what's the name of the song again? The Edge of the World, the Dawn of the Zenith of something about the top of the world. The one you hear, I don't remember the name right now. The one you hear in the last map of
Apex of the World.
The apex of the world. Yeah, that's also a really good one. But if I will have to be quite honest with myself, I will pick the main menu music. I really like the sound of the organ and this very silent, almost solemn and somewhat ominous music in the main menu. Like
it's like weirdly calming.
Yeah, like you get to something that's something very sacred and blasphemous happen, or I don't know. It gives me quite a weird vibe, but I like that vibe.
Yeah, same. It's like so. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I found it more. Yeah, I found it kind of like weirdly relaxing, kind of ominous. It was like so weird. It brought in a lot of emotions for me. I definitely vibed out to it a few times.
I would say that if we were talking about soundtracks, this was my favorite game by far because, yeah, and then it will be Echoes, but yeah, this was my favorite soundtrack overall.
Yeah, the soundtracks. I noticed that in Fire Emblem. Yeah, the soundtracks have been just getting better and better. Like that's one thing that's consistently improving. The soundtracks are just getting amazing. I don't know if it's because obviously higher new generation systems, you have more more things to work with than like old systems, but the soundtrack just keeps getting better and better. Fire Emblem never had a bad soundtrack to begin with, let's be honest. Like every soundtrack except maybe Thracia, just because I fucking hate Thracia.
Yeah. AKA the hardest game in the series.
Unless you count something like Lunatic Plus or whatever. On like a standard,
or hard in Radiant Dawn or Conquest.
Or like Lunatic Conquest. I'm pretty sure is harder than Thracia. But like in terms of like of standard difficulty, Thracia is just, I hate it. It was a mistake. It didn't do anything for the story. I don't care what people say. Maybe it did. I didn't care. I didn't look at the story of Thracia. I just wanted to fucking end it because it was suffering, it was pain, it was misery, and every Fire Emblem video.
Good thing you will never play Tear Ring Saga then, because I heard it's similar, or even harder.
Kaga made it, right?
Yeah, it's the first Tear Ring Saga and Berwick Saga.
Yeah, Kaga.
I would say Berwick Saga is the best one.
Kaga made it. I'm not playing it.
Yeah, if I were to actually include the Tear Ring Saga games here, then I would say that Berwick Saga is the second best one, but that's like, my personal opinion and something for another day.
No disrespect to Shozo Kaga. I think he's a great dude. I think he's a fantastic game developer, but I have to roast him. I roasted him a lot during my Thracia streams. I don't hate the guy. I think he's fantastic. He brought us Fire Emblem, but I still can't forgive him for Thracia. He's a good dude, but you made Thracia, so you're not your hands aren't clean, buddy.
Yeah, it also doesn't help him that the story of the first game is quite similar to Tellius, but
are you serious?
That's also a discussion. Yeah, it really is. It has almost the same story. It's like the Apostle, the fact that the Apostle was assassinated, this catastrophe that changed the world forever, the two gods.
Hey bro, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it up a little bit so it doesn't look the same. And then you got
Nintendo actually sued the company when that game was about to come out. It's a whole shit show.
Huh. Yeah, no, but yeah, Kaga, he's a good dude. Just every Fire Emblem discussion, I have to roast Thracia in some way. I have to express my hate for that game. But we're not here to talk about negative things, even though we did for the first 20 minutes. Yeah, no, just the gameplay, soundtrack. The Three Houses lived up to. It was more than what I expected.
Yeah, I would say it did.
You'll say what?
Yeah, for me it quite lived up. I wish it had some other things to make it even better, like a better written overall villain and
more maps,
better map design.
Map design.
But yeah, I would say it lived up to expectations mostly.
Yeah, gameplay was just on a pure gameplay perspective. I had a fun time. Like in pure gameplay wise, I was never bored. Aside from like maybe the beginning, because well, I mean, beginnings of most RPGs aren't the most fun. You have to kind of get through the tutorials and all that stuff first. But after that, man, it was a fun fucking game. Yeah,
okay, continue.
I used my my paid vacation from work to play it, and I fucking have no regrets. That was the best vacation I ever took.
Okay, that's a good thing. And finally, to start ending this, what would you say was your favorite meme of this game? Because there were a lot of memes.
Oh my gosh, my favorite meme. One meme I don't like is the I'm Ferdinand von Eiger. It's annoying. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, it was funny the first 2 minutes.
But I'd say also kill every last one of them is probably my favorite one. It was actually funny. Like when people make videos using that, it's funny. It's hysterical.
Which one?
Kill every last one of them.
Yeah.
What was your favorite meme?
Okay, fair enough. Something I really liked in this case around was the voice actors actually playing with it, acknowledging the memes and playing with them.
Claude's voice actor Joe Ziega, he's fucking
Yeah,
he
he owns.
oh my gosh, he owned every single meme. He owned it. He owned it perfectly. His Twitter is a fucking godsend.
Yeah, I love the one where he declared war on polygons. That was amazing. That was amazing. I loved it.
And he hung upside down one time, or no, he turned. Yeah, I think he was hanging from a tree upside down or something. What was he? Or did he just turn? I forgot. But yeah, he was just like upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a weird choice of box art. Like they could have did that better. That was stupid.
Yeah, we can agree on that. But at least it gave us that meme, which was funny. I would say my favorite one, however, were the church requests.
The what?
You know, especially the ones where Flynn and
okay,
we can spoil it.
The Seth
where
ones.
Flynn and his father are where Flynn and Seth are like things like
she wants a Minecraft, a Fortnite burger.
Yeah, that one. Or the one that she's doing something in an app called TikTok, or they were so weird. I love them.
And the Sedith's voice actor actually recited a bunch of them too. Like he goes on Twitter or like on YouTube and he like recites a lot of them, which is it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, it gave us good memes this game. I will say that the least favorite meme I like was the one from all memes involving Lorenz.
Yeah, one was funny because like it painted his hair as like Pac-Man. I thought that was funny. I thought that was hysterical. I'm pretty sure nobody on the Three Houses development team.
I don't know. I think it was.
I'm pretty sure no one on that development team likes his hair.
I don't know. I just hate his design. He looks so stupid and snobbish, and I hate those guys.
What's another meme? Yeah, no, the I'm Ferdinand von Iger meme, like that.
It's better in Japanese, but yeah.
You can't really go anywhere with that. I mean, you know, people are creative nowadays, but it's like, I don't know. I think that meme was just stupid. But one thing I will say it did though, overall, I think this game might be a little controversial. I might be saying something controversial, but this game fixed the fandom, in my opinion. Because when Awakening came out, especially Fates, the fandom was split. They were fucking split. Definitely. But I think everybody came in agreement. Most people, outside of maybe like a vocal minority, and even then they're not like that vocal to begin with. I think everyone collectively agrees that this game is great. I love that. Everybody sort of just acknowledges that this game is great, and if you don't like the game, nobody makes fun of you for it. They just tell you to play it. That's it. They say, "Oh, did you play it? Yeah, still didn't like it. Fair enough."
Yeah, that's something very healthy actually, but sadly it will not last on when that thing will die when we get the next game.
Like the most toxic parts I would say is like involving like Edelgard. But even then, I seen a lot of conversations. They were pretty civil about it. It wasn't nearly as bad as like I guess the Awakening War.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, Awakening! It saved the franchise. It destroyed the fandom. That's.
Yeah, pretty much. It was insane. I was just happy we got 2 more games after that. But
yeah, like it's more Fire Emblem. Like if you don't like the way the series is going, don't play it. That's it. Or submit your own ideas to, you know, who knows, maybe someone at IS will pick up on an idea and say, okay, we can use this. Yeah, I don't know, I like Awakening. I absolutely adore Awakening. Regardless, maybe I'm biased because it was my first game, but I still love it to this day and occasionally play it. But overall, I'd say just out of 10, what would you give Three Houses out of 10?
would say I will give it an 8.9 out of 10.
8.9. I'd say I'd probably give it like a 9. A 9, 9.5, 9.5 out of 10. It's amazing. Like, if Tellius is a perfect 10, which it is, besides that boulder map, hate it. So maybe it's like a 9.999 repeating. But I'd say 3 ounces is no Tellius. It's fucking stupidly close to it, though. So I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's just a fantastic game. If you're hardcore, if you love Fire Emblem, whether you're hardcore or just a casual, you gotta play this game. Absolutely have to. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm honestly looking forward to what's next for the series. However, I wouldn't mind if they took a break of like a year or two and they did another entry on Advanced Wars. Please, Intelligent Systems, make another Advanced Wars game. That I wouldn't mind if they took a break from Fire Emblem for like a year if we got another Advanced Wars.
Oh, Advanced Wars.
Yeah, you're saying.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that series is who knows? Maybe it's not dead because you're trying to cling to hope. I'm sorry.
I want to believe.
You're like me with Devil Survivor and Ape Escape. I'm clinging on hope. Ape Escape is most likely going to be happening. Devil Survivor is probably dead, but
yeah.
I can hope one day.
Unless Atlus decides to, unless people in that, what was the word again? Yeah, in that document that was making the waves on the internet the other day about franchises of Atlus. Unless it got a lot of votes, maybe we will see it. But who knows?
Devil Survivor 3 Atlas, please, just give it to me. Please, you don't even have to make SMT5. Just give me Devil Survivor 3.
No, fama. We are going to see SMT5 before Devil Survivor 3, sadly.
We're gonna see a lot of games before Devil Survivor 3. But
yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this up, I have to ask the waifu channel. I'm the king of the waifus. If all the waifus were real in this world, they would love me and nobody else besides me. So I have to ask, Ion.
Yeah.
The Ion, aka Ion Valhalla Shill, Dorith Inquisition, as you're known on Discord and Twitter. Who is your waifu of this game?
Okay, I will say Shamir, but because
yes!
that's already taken.
Okay.
No, wait, because that's already taken, and I don't want to antagonize you. I will pick Dorothea.
Dorothy. Okay, fine. You know what? You can pick Shamir. Oh, she's mine. Obviously, if she was real, she would. Out of all the nearly 8 billion people on this planet, if Shamir was real, obviously she would be gunning for. Just me. I'm General Van, the greatest gamer of all time to ever live on this green earth. But Shamir, that's you have good taste, my friend. You have good taste. And Dorothea, also very good taste. Dorothea is amazing. At first, the people were like, she's a thought. No, she's a lot deeper than that. She's amazing. She's a great girl, attractive as fuck, and really like her supports, especially the ones with Manuela, were touching. Very revealing, very touching. I felt sad for her at times.
Yeah, I get the feeling that if they were real, they would actually live together.
Yeah, they did. I think they did. I want to believe that at the end of their support, at the end of their conversation, they got together. In my opinion, I really would love to think that, because it kind of makes sense, because I did a video about on their relationship, and Dorothea's dream, and even Manuela, their dream was basically to stand on that stage together. And Dorothea was like, I remember at the end of support, she was basically like, fuck it, let's do it. And not just on the stage, let's just be us together. And I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, who cut these onions?
Yeah, I just realized that both Dorothea and Shamir share the same voice actress, if I remember correctly.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think they are voiced by Allegra Clark. I recall correctly. Okay, let me check that out very quick.
Shamir Fire Emblem. Man, she is so fucking beautiful. Oh my goodness. She's like... She reminds me so much of Tan. Yeah, alright, so Shamir is voiced by I can't say words. Allegra Clark.
Yeah, Allegra Clark.
Actually, never knew that. Props to Allegra Clark. I have to say her name slow. I can't say it fast for some reason.
What a curious thing that both of our waifus are voiced by the same voice actors in English.
I think
Allegra Clark, if you're seeing this, we are fans. Say hi.
I think Allegra Clark is secretly knows our tastes. She knows her fans' taste in waifus and acts accordingly. Figuratively and literally. Yeah, Shamir's amazing. She reminds me so much of Tanith from Tellius. She's like, I guess, I have to compare her to Tanith. She's like a less serious, like a slight, like if Tanith, on a serious level, if Tanith was a 10, Shamir's like a 9 on that
Pretty
scale.
much.
She's a little slightly more chill. Like you can reason with Shamir a little more than Tanith. Tanith will straight up kick you in the fucking face, but Shamir will give you a chance to talk before she decides to beat the shit out of you. Yeah, so yeah, and good taste in waifus, my friend. And yeah, that was 3 Houses. Great game. Play it. You'll enjoy it. Alright. Anything you want to say to everyone else?
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to follow General Ban here, and well, see you.
And we'll see you next time. Peace. Have a great day.